It's so fantastic. I'm sitting here this afternoon with Jim Geduld from Intervention Netherlands in Amsterdam. We go back a way, Jim. I think if I remember rightly, we did some of our training together.
That's right.
In Seattle. With Mr. Southworth and Mr.
John
Seeley.
Southworth, Ken Seeley.
The one recollection I have of that is you introducing me to the Cheesecake Factory. And what frustrates me, Jim, is I now weigh £6 million and you don't weigh anything. You look talk it's great to see you. Talk to me. Tell me about what you do in Amsterdam.
Well, now I have founded my company, Intervention Netherlands. Now I started with 3 people. Now we have about 9 to 10 people working for me. We got 4 interventionists. I trained them. We got about 5 case managers who are just monitoring all the cases. What the nice thing is with a producer, I was contacted by a producer, and we got together. We sat down. He had an idea about a television program. It's called Addicted, and we filmed 6 episodes. And after that, over 2,000 families requested the broadcaster that they were willing to ask for help, and they allowed us to film it. Now, can you imagine? Over 2,000 families. Our own mailbox was running over. So, yeah, I had to train some more people, get them to know what intervention is about. Because for me, it's not about getting that paper. I mean, we both have the paper, and we had a discussion. What my thing with intervention is for me, there are only a few true interventionists, and you can see that, you can feel it for a person, because you need to have the talent. We both, if I may say so, have that talent, because not everybody who has that paper has the talent. You need to have the ability to reach the family, to reach the addict, to speak out of your heart, to speak out of your emotion, to speak out of your experience. And it's not only 12-stepping a family or 12-stepping a patient, it's a genuine process. And you have to grow to any length. Now, I'm going to any length, and I'm sure you're going to any length, just to help the family, because they're so, they're so isolated, the family. They're actually terrorized in their own home by the addict who's not willing to see yet what he's breaking, what he's making a hell, not only out of his own life, but also to his family and maybe to his children. And what I learned is not only in the steps we learned from John Southworth and Ken Seeley, is also to give a bit of my own experience, to give a bit of my own story, because most of those times the addict, they can relate. They can relate with my story. They can relate with my feeling. So him or her gets the feeling where I'm from. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm an addict in recovery who's all of a sudden a man who's trying to help you. And this man has a paper, and he did some learning about it. And that learning we call intervention. We intervene the family process, how to position everyone in the right, genuine position. Why do I like you? Why do I love you? And how far am I willing to go to really help you? Am I willing to step my ego aside? Am I willing to put my money where my mouth is? And those are one of the few things we guide the family with in how everybody can participate in the process. It's an emotional process. It's a beautiful process. And the only thing what's important for me is that the family can learn from this process, that they learn how to set boundaries and how to love themselves. Because that's the whole thing about addiction. We lost how to love ourselves, because if we don't learn how to love ourselves, how can we love one another? And so for me, it's all about how to deal with feelings, how to cope with feelings, and how to learn from each other. And whether I learn from you, or you learn from me, or we learn from each other together.
You know, that you kind of hit on so many really important topics there. I mean, families, the whole family system during the course of intervention, you watch it change.
Yeah.
You watch the fear disappear and the trust become important. One of the most common things that I hear at interventions, and you touched on it before, was, you know, my loved one, you'll never get them into treatment. They just won't go. You know, they're really tough people. They're violent people. No. All these different kind of walls that they put up in front of an intervention. And one of the lovely things that happens, and I genuinely believe that only someone who's been through the process of addiction and through recovery can understand how the addict mind works, can understand how the family system works, and can actually work a proper intervention and a professional intervention.
Correct.
To the point where the addicted person eventually gets into treatment. They don't always go immediately. No. But I think our shared experience is they always go.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of time. And
that's right.
I remember John Southworth saying that, you know, if I'm doing an intervention and there's 10 people in the room and the addict doesn't go, I've got 9 people getting well.
That's right.
And that's fantastic.
That's true, because an intervention is always successful. I mean, for the 4 years I've been doing intervention out of my company now, about 6 people didn't go directly. But from the 6, 4 of them went afterwards. 2, they're still in active addiction. But I also needed to learn, I cannot help everyone. At least if I can help 1 family, 2 families, I'm satisfied.
You know, one of the really interesting statistics that I heard you talk about was the fact that, you know, you filmed these 6 shows and there were 2,000 families begging for help.
Yeah, through the ad on television. So they were willing to be helped with a camera crew in their neck. So
I find that an incredible statistic. You've got Holland. You know, we work as a European community now, which supports upwards of 300 million people. And you've got to allow for the fact that there's probably 30 million people in Europe that need help. And as interventionists, I know that we share lots of information. We don't compete, and that's the thing. We work and support each other through whatever it is we need to get done.
Right.
I think the aim of it is, for me certainly, the aim of it is watching that whole family system heal. You know, when we bring people home from treatment, I'm sure you've experienced the same. That instant cure of emotional distress when they meet at that airport for that first time in recovery, and watching that develop over the months ahead, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
That's a beautiful process. If you see that the whole family changed, like after an intervention, like you do, the patient goes into treatment, the same day the family goes into family therapy. And I always tell the families, and I also tell some addicts who call for help and like to do it on their own, I said, it will not go, Sonny. I cannot help you if you come alone. It's like playing in the Premier League. You don't step in the field and play Manchester United on your own. You need a team. You want to compete, you want to win, you need a team. And your family is your team. Meet up with your team.
That's perfectly well put. I mean, one of the things that I love about families is they actually become like the board of medicine. Almost. Right. And, you know, if we can get the family to understand a simple ABC procedure, accountability, boundaries and consequences, and hold them to it, the chances of success grow they're just a huge chance for success. And the long term, the longer we can keep them in that therapeutic process, we've both seen it. We've both seen that the impossible happen. I love that.
That's right. And one of the most difficult things with the families is to hold them to the consequences, and one of those consequences always is the finances. And I tell them, like, listen, if if your mom, if your dad, if your brother or sister needs to stay a month longer, and it might cost something extra, how much do you think he spent at his dealer? How much did it cost you? And how much did it cost him?
Do you know, you're so
That's
right.
lots of months.
So, Jimmy, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, John.
Love you lots, man, and we'll
Thank
work
you.
together in the future. Good to see you.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.